Dear President, members of the Congress, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to speak today at the plenary session of the Congress. I'm glad that our institutional cooperation remains strong, as usual. Assembly representatives participate regularly in the activities of the Congress, as it was recently the case with the Strasbourg Summit of Mayors of Roma. And earlier this year, I had the privilege of addressing the Bureau of the Congress, which met in my home region of Antalya, and we held a very fruitful exchange of views with the members of the Congress. Therefore, I am very much looking forward to continuing our discussion with you today. Dear friends, in our today's interconnected and globalized world, coordinated action at various levels of government is essential in order to address in a comprehensive manner the challenges our societies have to face. For this reason, Assembly supports the work of the Congress and always looks for synergies and opportunities for joint actions. Indeed, the principles of good democratic governance, which our organization stands for, can only be fully implemented through a multi-level approach where local and regional authorities play a key role. Today, practically all issues of national politics have local and regional implications. Therefore, multi-level governance implies an important degree of the decentralization of power. Local and regional authorities are fulfilling an increasing number of functions which are of direct interest for the citizens. Education and childcare, social assistance and housing, healthcare, employment, maintenance of public order, to name but several. Therefore, in the current context of the economic and financial crisis, budgetary austerity measures and cuts in public funding, it is the local authorities which are most often directly affected. In this connection, let me inform you that during the October 2000 part session, our Assembly held a debate on the activities of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, where the participation of the parliamentarians from OECD member states, both those which are members of the Council of Europe as well as overseas delegations. This very rich debate highlighted once again the macroeconomic difficulties we have to face. The financial and economic crisis has left many Council of Europe member states as well as OECD member states with a legacy of modest growth, weak public finances, and persistently high unemployment, in particularly affecting young people. Consequently, local and regional authorities in many of our member states see their capacity to cope with the consequences of the crisis weakening. In this context, we are looking forward to participating together with the Congress in the 17th session of the Conference of the European Ministers for Local and Regional Governments, which will be organized in Kiev in November 2011. This conference will address, among other issues, the challenges posed by the financial crisis at local and regional governments, and we are looking forward to providing a contribution to the debate as well as to the implementation of the decisions of the conference. I personally have the intention of attending to this important event. Dear colleagues, environment and sustainable development is another area where synergies between the Assembly and the Congress could be developed. In September, I attended a roundtable on public-private partnership in the sphere of the risk reduction, a basis for the country's competitiveness, organized jointly by the Risk Reduction Foundation and the Parliament of Ukraine, with the participation of the Assembly Subcommittee on Sustainable Development. The debate at this round table highlighted the need to develop national risk evaluation strategies in order to minimize the adverse effects of climate change and natural disasters. This will also be the main message of the Assembly's report prepared by Mrs. Marin on preventing natural disasters. And this report will focus on the promotion of a new rural development policy, including legislation that will focus primarily on the construction safety and rational use of soil, better protection of urban areas and increased control of existing infrastructures, particularly dams extending our cooperation on this front as well. Dear friends, today we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Social Charter, and I find it very symbolic that this celebration takes place during the plenary session of the Congress. Indeed, in many of our member states, local and regional authorities play an important role in delivering social rights, in accordance with the national policies, of course, and in focusing on human rights at local level, giving the possibility to local and regional authorities to share their experiences and good practices in addressing the most pressing needs of the citizens relating to social rights and human rights. This brings me to one more important area where the work of the Assembly and the Congress is very much complementary. That is the promoting of the right environment for living together. A truly intercultural model of living together, which allows culturally different groups within society to interact, is the most effective response to the intolerance, extremism, and xenophobia the worst evils of our societies have to face today. As the Assembly and the Congress have stated it on numerous occasions, dialogue, integration, and interaction between different communities start at local level. Therefore, the Congress' role in promoting our intercultural model of living together is very essential. In this respect, the fact that living together in dignity is the special theme of this session of the Congress is very significant. Within the framework of this special theme, the Congress will be holding this week a debate on the situation of Roma, building up on the conclusion of the Strasbourg Summit of Mayors of Roma held on 22nd September 2011. And as you know, the Assembly supported this event and our representatives took part in it. Alan Mill, one of the important members of the Assembly, replaced me at this event. Therefore, I would like to stress that we give our full support to the summit's proposal to set up a European alliance of cities and regions of Roma inclusion, which will provide a platform for sharing good practices, building up local and regional authorities' capacities, identifying specific problems, and proposing concrete solutions. Moreover, we are going to debate the fight to eradicate sexual abuse of children within the framework of the Council of 1 in 5 campaign. And as you know, the Assembly is fully involved in the parliamentary dimension of this campaign, and I'm glad that Ms. Olson, member of our Social, Family and Health and Affairs Committee, will participate in this debate. And I am sure it will promote the synergies between the Congress and the Assembly within the framework 1 in 5 campaign. Dear colleagues, Mr. President, before concluding my address, I would like to share with you some thoughts about respective contributions to the Council of Europe neighbourhood policy. When I addressed you last year here, I presented to you our new status of Partnership for Democracy, which would develop to allow parliaments of non-member states sharing our values and subscribing to our standards to participate in our work. In the face of the ongoing revolutionary changes in the Arab world, this status proved to be a very efficient tool to support democratic transformations in those regions. In June this year, the Parliament of the Kingdom of Morocco became our first partner for democracy. And during the October PAR session, as Mr. President informed you, Palestinian National Council received the partnership status as well. We now actively promote this new status in Tunisia through providing support in the organization of democratic elections, as well as their observation. We hope that newly elected authorities will apply in Tunisia for the partnership status when they are in place, when they feel ready. But I must stress that the interest in the partnership status is growing not only around the Mediterranean. During the October PAS session, I received in Strasbourg a delegation from the Republic of Kyrgyzstan, and headed by the Vice Speaker of the Parliament. During this visit, the Vice Speaker handed over to me a letter from the Speaker of the Parliament informing me that the Parliament's decision to apply for the partnership status. This is an important political message which I give the full support. Therefore, we are looking forward to receiving a formal application from the Kyrgyz Parliament so that we could launch the procedure. At the same time, granting the partnership status will not only itself resolve all the challenges relating democratic transformations our neighbors have to face. There are many other mechanisms of supporting them, and I think local and regional authorities could play an active role in this process as well. Democracy takes root at local level. Therefore, local democracy, community engagement, interaction with the civil society and support to the citizens, voluntary initiatives are the elements which will help our neighbors build a solid foundation for strong and well-functioning democratic institutions at national level. We all remember that in the 90s, decentralized cooperation between local and regional authorities was instrumental in strengthening democratic institutions in newer European democracies, joining the Council of Europe. And the Congress contribution to this process was very successful, especially in the Balkans, where democratic institutions had to be rebuilt following the conflicts which accompanied the breakup of former Yugoslavia. And today I believe that the local and regional authorities, as well as the Congress, will share this experience with our Mediterranean neighbors, as well as our neighbors in the Central Asia. By acting together at the national and local levels, we can make the process of democratic transformation much more efficient and much more effective. Dear colleagues, dear friends, let me finish my speech on an institutional note. During our 2011 June PAR session, we adopted a very important report on the reform of the Parliamentary Assembly in line with the overall reform agenda which our organization is engaging. I know that the Congress has finished the first part of its reform process before than any other institution of the Council of Europe. However, this reform aims at strengthening the Assembly's political relevance and effectiveness, making it more visible and improving our members' participation while reinforcing interaction between the Assembly and national parliaments. During the October PAR session, we changed our rules in line with the reform requirements so that we can start the 2012 Assembly session with the new rules and new working methods as well as new structures. The reform contains a series of measures ranging from policy actions to change in our working methods and structures, and to save time, I will not present you all the novelties today. At the same time, I would like to draw your attention to two measures which are important for our institutional relations. Firstly, in order to focus our work, we created a new committee on social cohesion, health and sustainable development by merging existing three committees: Committee on Economic Affairs and Development, the Social Health and Family Affairs Committee, and the Committee on the Environment, Agriculture and Local and Regional Affairs. From 23rd of January 2012 on, this new committee will become your privileged interlocutor on all the issues relating to local and regional government. As a result of this reform, the Assembly will count 8 sectoral committees instead of the current 10. Secondly, we decided to strengthen the implementation of our text. Rapporteurs for report will now continue to be seized for 1 year after the adoption of the report to ensure that to follow up. In my opinion, this measure is very important for increasing our effectiveness. It provides an important opportunity to oversee the implementation of an Assembly text as well as the appropriate actions by the rapporteurs whenever necessary. Moreover, with this indeed extended mandate, rapporteurs become automatically contact persons on any issues concerning the adopted text and its implementation. I am sure that This will offer additional opportunities for developing cooperation between the Assembly and Congress. For example, whenever issues raised in our text have local and regional implications and may be taken up further by the Congress. Dear colleagues, dear friends, Mr. President, the subjects of the Congress and the Assembly are dealing with are complementary. And our structures and rules of procedures offer plenty of avenues for strengthening our cooperation further. I will now be more than happy to continue this discussion with you in the format of exchange of view, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And Mr. President, thank you very much once again for this opportunity. And thank you very much for your attention.